Good evening, everyone. How's the weekend been so far? There was a bit of a faff trying to get this steering wheel set up. Not the steering wheel itself, but the first game I tried it with was Assetto Corsa, which is kind of a sim racer on Steam. I think on Xbox now as well. In any event, it just didn't register very well. It registered almost in reverse. Like the steering wheel throttle inputs. Um, so like the pedals worked in reverse. So if I didn't depress the throttle, it was at full throttle. And if I did depress the throttle, it was the opposite. It was very weird. And it was same with all of the pedals actually. The brake as well. I was doing the same thing. And I do not know why. Turn that on. Make sure we're getting an input from the dual PC. So that's partially why we've settled on BeamNG. It seems to be accepting it a lot easier. Otherwise, the other one that seems to work relatively well is Forza Motorsport 7. So that game's menus are a little bit confusing because I haven't touched that basically since it was released. So we've got at least two games we can have a look at with the old steering wheel. That would have made sense too. I could have installed Truck Simulator. Well. Live and learn. Perhaps another day. That means that we'll just need to break out the steering wheel again. That's alright. Give us a reason to break it out again. Oh yeah, Lawnmower Sim with this setup. Do I have that installed? No, I've got that installed on the other computer. The old one. I've also got Dirt 5, which might work with it too. But in any event, as the category suggests, let's start with BeamNG. And we'll go from there. Now, for those who haven't played BeamNG before, it's kind of a sim racer, but it's also kind of a sim destruction engine as well. It does very good soft body physics. And the reason that I own it, in actual fact, is it does very well with automation, which is a car designing game. You can then you design the engine and to a lesser extent the body, and to a much lesser extent the interior, and then you can export it into BeamNG. Now I haven't done that yet on the new PC, though I have done it previously. That's another thing we can do in the future. I don't rightly know what we want to do. Do we want to do campaign? I don't actually know what the campaign is. No, not senseless. No. None of those particularly appeal to my wanting to kind of learn how to do better. I think free roam, I think Wolf, you're right. I think free roam will be the go. But I've clicked on scenarios now, so we are committed to having a look at what this is. Okay, well, it's something to look at perhaps in the future. Let's go free roam, and I did download some maps especially for this. So I downloaded Somerset, Polish Mountains, Generic City, and there was another one as well. Wasn't that one? Okay, so it's the ones without. So it must have been this one. Yeah, 121 square kilometers worth of road. Oh, city? You want to go city first? And there's also Monaco. I downloaded Monaco, which is, I think, basically the Monaco F1 circuit. But then again, I don't know if there is much outside of Monaco, outside of the F1 circuit. Just before we do that, I want to try and change my default vehicle. Because by default, you spawn in a ute, which has an automatic gearbox, which is not what I want. I don't know if you can hear it, but that's the shifter. I want to have a shifter on it, so I want it to be a manual. Yeah, maybe it's not in here. Maybe it's in the menu. Options. Gameplay. Further. Oh, it's got a nice little ping to it. Start vehicle running. Oh well, that's alright. We can change the car when we get in. Generic city. Default. Suitable for hurting your eyes. Okay, maybe we give that one. Nope, that's the only option. Okay. Let's go hurt our eyes, as the mod author suggests. My start to the weekend was pretty good. I went to a little bit of a Hottest 100 party that my church was holding this afternoon. I was hoping someone would pick up something I put on Gumtree today, but that was not the case. Hopefully they'll come tomorrow. That's what they said, at least. But then again, they said they'd come today, so who knows? Okay. Oh. Much loading to be had. So far, my eyes aren't hurting too much. But that might change at any moment. When did your brother have to head off, Wolf? Was it in the morning or in the afternoon? Alright, I think we might be... Nope, we've still got a little... No, we are all loaded in now. Okay. Means we can... change car. Alright, okay. In the morning. That is unfortunate. So I downloaded a Volkswagen, so we can use that. Let's go for something a bit more city car, right? It looks like it's a pretty modern city. Oh, Singleton, yeah. I used to do cadets, army cadets through school. And we went on some camps out that way. Let's do this kind of 240 SX knockoff. And let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's just use the base. Or... driver airbag. Yeah, that sounds useful. I think we'll need a driver airbag. And we've also got alloy wheels, so that'll really help with the resale value. Alright, so here is the new whip. A nice 240... oh, sorry, a nice not 240 SX. Is it that button? Yeah. Look, we got... is that a CD player? We've got a CD player, chat. Got a 5-speed gearbox. Oh, we even got seats in the back. Nice. Plenty of room for the bebs. So at the top there, you can see the inputs. That's the brake, which is really stiff on this thing for some reason. Also got the clutch, obviously. I'm just gonna... I thought I had a... like a speedo, like this here, but inside, and for some reason it's not showing up. Aren't I in first person view? What are you doing? Game? Where's this? Oh, my speedo is there. Okay, no, I'm just really bad at seeing things. Alright. As you were, everyone. Don't mind me. Well, apparently it's a common problem, this stiffness. Okay, so I've got the parking brake on, so I'll put the clutch in. Take the parking brake off. Slap it into gear. Take off. Okay, so, not great. Put the parking brake on. We should put in your seatbelt, Wolf. Okay. We're gonna try that one more again by pressing that button. On. Slap it into reverse. Turn the wheel. Slap it into forward this time. I'm driving on the wrong side of the road. I know that's the least of our problems. Only if they can catch me, Wolf. Okay, the light's changing. Ugh. Okay, so the steering's a bit funky. Let's try and send it. Okay, so the brakes work well. Plus. What is the fastest car I got? Okay. Let us have a look. Hold on. First things first. Slapped it in neutral. Put the parking brake on. Oh, and put the hazards on too. Vehicles. Fastest whip I've got is probably this one. The Civetta Scintili. Yeah. In this... No, I don't think an inflatable mat's too much faster. The Civetta Scintili. Yep, they're all DCTs. But then again, I've got paddles. Oh, well, I just broke a gear. Yeah. Real Yesco segregation here. Feels plenty faster. Even if it isn't a Yesco. It's fine. We'll buff out. so let's check it out. As we can see, oh well, hold on. Let's turn off the engine first. Probably safest, right? I think I'm pretty alright. Chat, however, is a little bit worse for wear. You might need to walk that one off, I think. I think I could probably go to the office after that. But yeah, I don't know if chat was doing alright there. What other vehicles do we got going on? I did download this as well, which looks pretty neat. I was basically desperately looking for something that was right-hand drive. And there are not many vehicles that are right-hand drive, unfortunately. Okay, hold on. 3, 1, 2. Get in position. Clutch in gear. Oh, come on. I put it in third. Oh. Start the engine. Pretty quick, I imagine. Well, actually, it probably wouldn't be as quick as that Ferrari knockoff that we were driving in before. Okay, now I died that time. Turn the engine off. Yeah, I'm wheelchair bound, unfortunately. I had a good run. Cat's alright though. Oh my goodness, this is a lot larger than I thought it was. I mean, obviously it's not super detailed, but damn. Okay, let's get on the highway. Let's get in something a bit more, probably reasonable for my competency. In the Fiat 500 knockoff. No, I think we all know that Ferrari is not matching my competency. There we go, this is much better. Okay, there's the... We'll take the... I don't know if it's an off-ramp or an on-ramp, but we're going to take it nonetheless. Okay, turns out the second gear was maybe a bit much to get up that hill. We're slowing down noticeably. Okay, now we can really open up the taps. Listen to that engine purr. Look at the speed. Look how quickly everything's going past. Look at my lack of feet. Oh, the wing mirrors, that's... well, things. Yeah, I was just noticing that myself. So what we're going to do is we're going to come to a stop. Put the parking brake on. Oh, and stall because we had it in gear. Okay, and now we're going to jump in the old menu. Where was it? Dynamic resolution. Probably that one, right? Go for a 2. Oh, we can probably... Can we increase the resolution as well? 512. The detail of 0.6. Ah, there we go. That's significantly less terrible now. I don't know where the speedometer went. Okay, well, it's back now. As you can tell, we're screaming down the highway at 90 kilometers an hour. Do we even have a 4th gear? Oh, yeah. Just unleash the power in 4th. Yeah, I'm gonna try and make our way around there. Also, I'm going to make an executive decision. I forgot to take it out of gear again. Okay. We're going to get something a little bit quicker. Not super quick, but quicker. The Ibushi Covert. A newer hatchback sounds like a good idea. High efficiency with aero parts. No, we don't want a high efficiency. The JDM refresh model, maybe. Sports model, stiffer suspension, larger wheel, and a more powerful engine. Let's try that out. And we'll go for a blue. Aquamarine, sorry. Thank you, Sergeant. And then let's try and find this bridge and not do a PewDiePie. I don't want to cancel myself just yet. Oh, we got wheel spin. Come on, let's get into gear. The fact we had wheel spin was a vast improvement. Oh, look at this, we got a banked corner. Imagine this was your commute to work. Or home from work, even. Oh, we got a castle at our 11 o'clock over there. Oh, bollocks. Well, that was an eventful commute. Oh, there goes a hubcap. Yeah, we all live because we're in a newer car, thankfully. Remember, unleaded fuel only. I feel much less like a grandma driving this car, that's for sure. Oops, second was probably better up there, but we just made it. this the bridge? The bridge! Hold it. Two left. Whoa, Nelly! I have no idea how fast we just went because I didn't have the speedo. Yeah, I was just thinking that we need to do that in a quicker car. Alright. Coming to a stop. Alright. Faster car. I don't think there's no ramps on the bridge, because the boards didn't look like they went the whole way up, so it looks like they just throw you into the inside of the cargo container. Alright. Velociter. Limited top speed version. Well, that sounds more up our alley, doesn't it? Well, there's one way to find out, I guess. Why do you disappear? Hmm? Aren't I in first person? Okay. Well, we'll just have to go into not first person. Yeah, we just made it around. Well, let's never say never, Wolf. This is, after all, the top speed version. That is a very imposing slope, though. I will give you that. After the roundabout, I'm just going to flipping send it. Alright, ladies and gentlemen. 3, 2, 1, punch it. Well, we made it up. Oh, the engine oil's critically low. That's not good. That's the problem. Yeah, good job we detached from the rest of the car because of the engine oil. But I think for the most part, we would have walked away from that just. Oh, can I pick you up? I don't know where the rest of the car is. There, hold on. Control. Camera. Is there like a free cam? Toggle free cams. Shift C. Okay. Well, we found the rest of the car. Oh, sorry. That was such a clean cut. Damn. I really did not expect it to be that clean a cut. Well, now we gotta try it in the other direction. Yeah, I didn't expect it to happen that way, that's for sure. Come on, why aren't we turning around? Yeah, well. Turn it to lock. Oh, we just made it. We'll aim for that burner right down there, shall we? Oh, there you go, we did launch. I'm just gonna turn the engine off. Oh! Well, the engine turned itself off. The fuel tank ruptured. I think that's the real issue here. I don't know why it keeps snapping in half. I think that's what I'm most fascinated about. Let's try in... Oh, there's a car that might be more appropriate for that. This one. Gotta get back on the road. Try that again. Well, this is... I guess we're not going to be able to make it out. Like, this shouldn't be the hard part. Come on, why can't we... There we go. Like, this isn't the hard part. There we go. It doesn't help that I don't... Okay. We activated the rockets then. I don't know precisely where my wheels are, because it's got 900 degrees of rotation, the steering wheel. Alright, there we go. Easy. I think we'll do the same thing as last time. So we'll go to the roundabout, and we'll send it from there. Pretty cool bus with the cape. Yeah, I don't... It'll be interesting to see what happens. Like, I don't know how likely it is, but I feel like there's a non-zero chance we might just miss the entire bridge structure and just go straight to the sky. Okay. Okay, we've reached top speed. Maximum gear. Well, it can fit under lower bridges now. I think what would have been ideal... Yeah, the trouble is there's no clutch. If I could have disengaged the engine there and just relied on the rockets, I think that would have done it. No, I reckon we can do the bin. I mean, there's only one way to find out, right? Cool. That'll buff out, don't worry. Gonna drive at a responsible speed. We should try the other one actually, because it's close. Oh, maybe it's from the other direction. Okay, that's harder then. I was gonna say if it's in the same direction as this one, that would have worked really well. Yeah, it's shaking a lot. I just realized we're probably not going to be able to turn around. Run it to Austin Powers, this thing. Ow. Okay. Nope, wrong pedal. Opposite lock. Turn it to lock again. So we might just pull this off. So we'll probably have to replace the front headlight. Thank you, Sergeant. Hey. Off we go. I missed. Oh dear. I missed. Okay, what we need to do before we do anything else, put the parking brake on, is figure out slow motion. Alt up. Okay. That's important. This'll do. Just cruise gracefully back at 25 or so kilometers an hour. Boost pressure is skyrocketing. I'm gonna say that'll do. Okay, so now we're in slow motion. I'm doing it now because I don't think I'm going to have time to do it later. It does make driving it a lot easier. That went well. I can still activate the rockets. Somehow, I'm up there still driving. Oh wait, maybe not. Time for a new car. The Soledad Wendover. So they're all auto, except for that one. But we don't want top of the line. Unless it's for safety, because we definitely need top of the line for safety. Let's go the Hayoshi Sunburst. 2.8 litre sport. Perfect. New map, you reckon, or do you want to keep it exploring this one? Ooh. That's brutal. That goes down to 2 lanes from 3 at the bottom of that slope. Trying to merge there would be the worst. Well... oh well. We're here. I mean, I don't know how different it is. But there's a lot more stuff about the place. We've only seen, like, this much. However, I am but an entertainer. Let us try another city, actually. Let's go to the west coast, the USA. Industrial area. Sounds delightful. Well, we learnt several things there. The LaFerrari knockoff likes to rend itself in twain. The bus is too big for those dumpster cargo container jumps. And for whatever reason, the person who designed that city was a madman and possibly worked for the Hot Wheels Corporation. So these are all very important things to know and understand for the future. Let it load on in. Alright. Let's change car. We're in this one, I think. Going to the base model. Clutch. First gear. Give it some revs. Nope, we haven't forced 1 second. What? Oh my goodness gracious. Did I hit the lamppost? Is that what happened there? Like, the handling does leave a little bit to be desired currently. I will concede that much. That might be all she wrote for that one. Oh wait, we can probably hang a right. There we go. What is that parking structure able to go inside of? This thing on the left here. We're getting there. Yeah, well, it's not through here, but we might as well. I don't rightly know where we're going this time. Well, we're here, wherever it was. Oh! Well, the car is entirely intact. We just lost some hubcaps. Which is a great loss, obviously. But we can live without them, I think. Wait, do we have a rear wheel car? Filters, drivetrain, rear wheel drive. PK Series 1. Base model, 2.4 liter. The reason why I want to try this is shown here in the middle. Yeah, power! What a beast. Okay, so we maybe don't have enough power to pull it off. What if it was a more powerful version of that car? Say the PT Sport with a turbo. And a spoiler, no less. There we go. Oh, well, we stalled out. Let's go find this drag strip. Yep. You a drag strip? No. That looks like a drag strip, though. Set route. Okay, let's go to the drag strip, ladies and gentlemen and MVs. Happy, sad, and possibly evil. Scammer wolf? I encountered a scammer the other day, actually. A Bulgarian fellow. I'm trying to sell an old computer that I picked up of the council cleanup through Facebook Marketplace. He was trying to scam me through KID. Yeah, the iMac. I've probably mentioned it before. Stalking my Facebook page. Come on. Let me get to the drag strip. Probably got a mechanics there. We can get it fixed once we get there. My steering wheel is at a distinct angle to ensure that I drive straight ahead. I think I've done a number on the front wheels. Come on, I'm putting in third. What's happened to the wheels? The radio's not looking great. But yeah, they tried to scam me using KID. Saying that I hadn't paid or whatever. And I definitely had. Anyway. It was great because what they were doing is they were saying, I've sent you the money. Please, check your email to confirm that the money's been sent. And what they were hoping I would see was the email that was in my spam box. Oh, for flip's sake. Email in my spam box saying, click this link. Money has been sent and you need to upgrade your PID to a business account. Oh, we just saved that there. Few details. Yeah, let's do a drag. Hopefully we're racing for pinks. Alright, to complete the race, you must first go to the start line. Yep. Once in the starting position, wait for the traffic light. Drive as fast as you can to reach vehicles in realistic mode, so you have to manage the gears. Alright. Start. Oh, it's the same car. And I'm having trouble just getting up to the line. Oh, don't tell me I have to get back. That's just mean. But the best part about the scamming attempt was the... Move forward. Was the... When I was able to reveal that I knew. It was all in the launch. Yeah, my reaction was far too slow. Retry same foe. Oh, okay, apparently we're driving away. Can I hit retry? Hit retry with same foe game? Sure I did. Prestige of being like, that's weird, I gave you my mobile number for the PID. Isn't it weird that I didn't get a message, but I should get a message from my email? Huh, what's up with that? Then he left the chat for some reason, I don't know why. Of course, it wasn't until later that I realized that he was from Bulgaria. Otherwise I wouldn't have even entertained it, obviously. I think I'm in position. No. Yeah, I found that it was you. A bit further forward. Perfect. Load up the clutch, as they say. Down we go. I'm just sitting here revving my engine at 4,000 RPM waiting for them. What's the go? It's green. Is that a problem? Okay, hold on. For flip's sake. What, I won? How did I win? I'm not going to complain. But I clearly lost. Yeah, alright, wise guy. Let's try with a different foe, perhaps. okay, you're just going to swarm me right back in as we careen towards the wall. Awesome. Yeah, I think a slightly damaged clutch is the least of our concerns right now. I'm having to hold the steering wheel at like a 9 o'clock position just to drive straight. Okay, well that car's properly busted. Give it an old reset. Okay, while we're here, is there a steering angle app? Digital tachometer, G-forces, gears, no. Not hot lapping, not police info. Not a race countdown. Not an RPM debug. Steering position. Much better. Now I can see if it's straight or not. Sometimes I can't tell. Not especially. Highway endurance race? No. Cell tower delivery, drive from one cell tower to the other. Highway intersection? No. No, not the mountain course. Actually, one thing we should do, though. AI. Traffic. Or normal. I haven't used AI traffic in a long while, so I'll be interested to see what this is like. Here's some other engines in the background. Oh, everyone's driving around the drag strip. Okay. I'm going to assume this takes us back to a road. I don't know for certain. But it feels like it should, right? Pretty road adjacent. Well, Alex, I was hoping I could get away with having that in second gear, but no, we need to be in first. AI cars now. That's pretty neat. What's over here? What's up this gravel road? Pretty sweet look at. Continues down here as well. What in tarnation are you doing on this gravel road, sir? kind of wish my steering wheel had indicator stalks, so I could like properly indicate my intention to turn left or right. I didn't mean to go into fourth. We're in the turn lane after all. Oh, this is how we came to the drag strip. We came up this here on-ramp. This is how I kind of like to, what I kind of like to do in GTA as well, just kind of live in the world. I appreciate it's not the most entertaining for everyone. Certainly not necessarily the most entertaining content. They're fine. Oh, I'm not fine though. I'm doubly not fine because my gear shift came unstuck from the desk. Head down into the not LA River. Oh. Pop a tire or something? Doesn't look like it. Thank you, Sergeant. Now, hold on a second. Where does that pipe go? And can I fit in? Okay. The answer, like it might be no. But there's got to be a car that could. Probably too big. That one might work. Definitely not the semi. Wagon. A widgeon could. I reckon this one probably could. It's this probably one of the smallest ones we have. We got front disc brakes, chat. That's huge for us. Okay, well, that was a really good start. This time we'll try it without running into the pipe. See if we can get in. Come on. Okay, what we're going to need to do, straighten up the steering wheel. Come into vehicle config, body, engine, transaxle, rear diff, limited slip. So it'll deal with that. And while we're here, we might as well give it a 5-speed. Just for the hell of it, why not? And a Stinger exhaust. Oh, wow. What are the other options? What's a turbo exhaust? Oh, a lateral turbo. What about a race fuel exhaust? That one looks sick, so we'll leave it at that. Don't need an oil cooler. And we'll leave the nitrous oxide system for another time. I had the clutch in. Because you didn't realize game doesn't mean it didn't happen. Come on. Okay, well I didn't realize we were going to go that dark. Turn on the high beams. Oh, it'll be easier from in here, actually. Proper Italian job hours right now. Actually, isn't there a mission in GTA 5 which is basically this, except you're on a motorcycle? What? We were doing so well. You ended up in the construction side. Okay, well, the dual race exhaust was a very good decision. Get away with not having the headlights on. What's over there? Nothing, as it turns out. That's a bit of a disappointment. Damn, that sounds good. Before we go any further in this car, which so far has been my favourite sounding one at the very least, we need to have a look at the front brake. Just go premium, no, sport. Sport front brake. Front torsion bar. Front brace coilovers? No, we'll leave it at torsion bars for now. Rear suspension. Rear drum brakes. Or consider rear disc brakes, perhaps. Damn, what are you guys doing? Huh? Why are you guys sending it down there? Rear wheel. Like, there's so much choice in this game. Forget that. I would argue that I was in the intersection. Perhaps could be the other reading of my license plate. I think I interpret at least as Commission Andy. Please commission Andy to do some drawings for you. What else can we change? Engine. We've got a 1.3 litre, a 1.5 litre air-cooled Stage 1 performance. Remounted oil cooler. Don't need a nitro system. We got the race exhaust, we got the dual carbs. Get a blow through turbo or race carbs. Go race carbs. Don't think we need engine management. I think we're doing pretty alright. Tighten flywheel, but a limited split rear diff. Okay, dokie. People these days don't know how to drive. We need better brakes and better tires somehow out of this. Now we want front suspension. Widen trailing arm. Race front sway. I've just caused a complete mess here. Front coilovers. Yeah, that'll do. Rear half shafts, yeah. Rear spindles, yeah. Race disc brakes, that's what I want. And we'll go full race front brakes as well. Go rear race coilovers. Try for that. Okay, now let's try and get out of this mess mode. There we go. We can stop a lot faster now, which is pretty good. Come on, can we turn around please? Thank you. Oof. Okay, let's go somewhere else. Let's try the Hiyoshi, perhaps? Just to see if we can actually do, like... Because it's AI, obviously. But can we race the AI? Am I being too confident in thinking that we should? Perhaps. Will I still do it? Yes. Is my neck hurting? Also yes. Okay, I just dropped my office seat, and I'm now feeling a lot more comfortable. Ah, we can. Short course race, medium course race. Let's try a short course race. But I should probably change my vehicle first, because I think that's probably what we'll have to do it in. Try it in something basic to start out with. The Ibishu 240SX. Driver's airbag. In turquoise? Seafoam green. That'll do. Start the mission. Let's see what we can do. Alright, so we want to achieve a podium finish at least. Ideally first place, who would have thought? Okay, this is a goof run. Gonna have to hope that they crash. I'm impressed we haven't crashed, actually. Like, not into a wall, and we've definitely spun out, obviously. Oh, come on, I put that into third, you all know it. Particularly you, game. Okay, now we crashed. Let's turn off the engine. Put the parking brake on. Didn't want to press F1. Is there a way to reset? Let's try that from the top again, shall we? Okay, we haven't spun out just yet. I feel like I'm trying though. Wow, you are determined, huh? Not as determined as that guy. Turn on the engine again. Obviously going super well. Don't even worry about it, chat. This is how it came from the factory. This is the sports model. They got rid of the rear windshield because it was too much weight. Probably should have had a hazard flag for that one, I reckon. I'm in second, but why did he get into first? Okay, that was on me. I feel like having a slightly damaged fourth gear is probably the least of our concerns at this point. Oh yeah? Where's the... there it is. Also, the fact that I have slightly damaged fourth gear is really of no concern, because we're never going to make it to fourth at this rate. This is a well-built car, I'm not gonna lie. Head to your local Abishu dealership and pick up a 200 BZ. They are sturdy. And their transmissions can take a lot of punishment, which is huge for learners. All in all, I think my review, great learner's car. Let's try again. If this doesn't work, we might try with a different car, possibly a faster one, to see if we can kind of beat our way to the front. Come on, there's third. Come on, there's third. Whoa! Why is everyone so... I'm the only person who decides to drive out of the way of something, it seems. So as you can see, a very durable car. Great for learners. Safe as well, it's got a driver's airbag. should be able to get out of the car and just duct tape the bumper back on. Come on, at least don't stall it out. Come on, there's the... I have a lot of trouble finding third gear, that is, obviously, chat. Come on, I'm in neutral. Oh! Turn that off. Let's abandon that. Right now it's steering. Let's have a look at the vehicle config. Have a look at the engine. Got the stock engine. I'm going to performance long block. So, should leave the engine alone. We might change the exhaust though, just so it sounds a little nicer. Oh hell yeah, fat boy exhaust. Yeah, or no, we'll leave it as a 5-speed manual. We want to change up the suspension and tires and brakes. So we've got a bit better steering. Sports front coilovers, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Sport front sway bar. Type LS front disc brakes. Leave the tires for now. Ooh, though we could go for sport front tires perhaps. Let's do that. Steering is steering. Let's put some power steering on that. Let's, you know, treat ourselves a little bit. Sport rear strut. Sport rear sway bar. Limited slip diff. I don't even know what any of that means. I'm just going to leave that. Type LS disc brakes. We went sport rear tires. Trunk. Spoiler. Full lip. Tasteful. Have we been able to cheat and upgrade our way into not thinning out as much? Find out soon. No, the cars are different. At least one of them looks more upgraded. Around the corner. Okay. We almost got there. Definitely the tires were a good decision though. A good decision. I stalled on the start line. Okay, well we're gonna try that again, chat. Just because. No particular reason. Hold on. Why was the steering wheel start? Right. Right. we've stalled. Very poggers. This is tough. I'm not sure how much difference the power steering has made. Okay. Let's try a different car. And by that, I mean maybe just like a stock Ibushu LS. Modified, top-of-the-line model, increased power, body color, trim, sport suspension, and wheels. Let's try that. So this is obviously a bit above your learner's car. But I think the recommendation in general for the Ibushu 200BX as a good learner's car still remains. I never realized what position I've got the steering wheel at. Because I've got it, like, it's got a notch in the middle and I've got that straight up. But it's not returned center. Couldn't care less about a damaged clutch just yet again. Don't stall it. Hey, we actually made it around that corner, kind of. Not on the track, obviously, but it's all about body panels in fact. Getting into second there, obviously. Oh! Who died there? Me. Well, maybe not. I do have the driver's airbag, after all. I don't know if it's me. It probably is me. But I do wonder if maybe it's also partly the car. Maybe I'm just clutching at straws. But if I increase the performance of the car, I'll just increase the performance of my opponent's cars as well. Which is not ideal. Okay, massive flop due to very underpowered engine. Not what we want. Fire and ice. See? BTS. That's the mid-range model. Harlequin. Factory-tuned engine, special cover. Let's try that. See if that brings us any more luck. See if the German manufacturing prowess. I'll install that, see if I care. Just as long as you're not stalled out when we get into the new menu. Get around that fellow, and then we just stay in this position. Okay, go on the grass, that's fine. Grass is not crashed. Right on S6. Oh, that's going to affect the steering, huh? Yeah, that's alright. I feel like stalling out's the least of our problems there. So I think the car did better. Not off the line. But I think the car feels a little bit better than the other one. Maybe it's a placebo effect, maybe I'm just learning how to track a bit more. It also helps that it's going to torque the second gear. Should be using more. Oh, we even stayed on the asphalt there. That's huge. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Pretty much staying on the track, which is huge for us. I say as I go into the stand. Come on, cross. Oh, we'll just go straight across the stand. But the fact that we finished the race, particularly with all of our body panels on, is pretty good. And at what, almost a full minute faster than the first time we finished. Admittedly, we crashed quite significantly there. One more time. One more time. Slap it into first. Why is the engine off? Why am I doing a Le Mans start? No one else is. That was unfair. Let's just cut across the concrete. Okay. Well, this time I did it with the clutch in. Thank you for pointing that out, rule breaker. As you can probably tell, I'm kind of learning as I go. Whilst I have had lessons and driven in a manual car, I definitely haven't under race conditions, and it's not my daily driver. Okay, well, we didn't stall out. Thank you, Sergeant, by the way. So, whilst not a huge achievement, the fact we didn't stall is nice. How are you, Rule Breaker, by the way? How is your weekend going so far? Sure, that's going better than my racing. What would you recommend then in terms of kind of steering wheel, gear shift racing experience? Okay, well they're significantly ahead. They drove over that bridge. I tried it in a Assetto Corsa and it just wasn't working. For me, I find setting gravity to -11 in Beam lines up reality. Choice. Optiones. wonder if oversteer reduction assistant is probably not helping as well. No, maybe not. No, we don't run it for that. No way to, like, make sure it's being put in terms of, like, if it's taking the steering wheel direct. I don't want to limit the steering. No, that's for key buttons only, so that doesn't matter. Maybe I'm just a bad driver. Under controls. Alright, thank you. Binding for steering axis. Alright, thank you very much. Hazard lights, no. Must have scrolled past it. Throttle? No. Steering axis. In theory, capturing it all according to that. Oh. Okay. Let's see if that's fixed anything. I'm not holding my breath. Because I tried to, set it up in a Assetto Corsa, and it just wasn't playing nicely with the steering wheel. Just being really weird about it. We're just gonna cut across the concrete. Well, I've done something to the steering, that's for sure. No force feedback anymore. So it's significantly lighter to throw it around. But I'm currently in third position, which is the best we've ever been. Thank you, stay healthy, but I will get a drink once we've won. Great. And by won, I mean finished, did not last. I'll have to wait for a second there. Let's just cut across the concrete again. Gotta do what you gotta do to win. Even if it's not pretty. Alright. Well, we haven't spun out yet. Knock on wood. Oh, kiss the 8th. Well, beautiful corner. on, don't mess up with a terrible one. Yes! Bronze! I think that's... I mean, yes, I think I am definitely doing either one or both of those things. Stay healthy, but just gonna get a drink for you. I think partly it was squealing a lot more then because I think I messed up the force feedback somehow. There we go. It's back again. I wonder if that's the dead zone that I'm feeling? Is that why this resisted? That. Well, in any event, I'm going to take the W. I'm not a... beggars can't be choosers and all that. Do we want to risk it with a longer race? Well, we're definitely not doing a pro drift stage. That's not going to work. Race against audio configs around the short. Let's just try the medium one once. See how badly I get schooled. It'll probably be really badly, but let's just find out for certain. Well, the trouble was, I was in... Hold on. If we go back here, I was actually doing better in this car. Because previously, I was in this car, the Ibushi 200BX. Specifically, that one, or that one. The base M or the Type LSM. And wasn't really doing... Well, what I did is I upgraded this one. I changed the brakes and the tires, put on a race exhaust just because it sounded cool, and some other things. And then the opponents were upgraded as well. That was the problem. But we can try it again. Bumper, so it's on front races. Front wheel. Front sport tires. Oh, and I changed the diff as well. And we want rear sport tires. Alright. Go to 200. Oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense actually. Would you recommend 200 for all of it though, or just for like the rear specifically? It's 60 R15. Go 205. We'll do the same with the... Okay. Thick tires it is. And that is 205. They're the thickest sport tires, at least. We could go for 225 standard fronts, but I don't think that's going to be good. Alright. Hold on. Where's that tire go? We want that one. We want wings and splitters. Okay. Trunk. Spoiler. X-type? That's a spoiler, alright. Tail light panel. We'll leave the tail light panel. Trunk accessory. Gotta get an antenna. Gotta get the radio. Front bumper. Front lip. Front lip. Guess that's a splitter. Yeah, I think that's a splitter. No, front fenders. Not it. Yes. No, it's sport. Vented. That's how you know we're a cool car. GT wing. Got it. Nomi. Excuse me. Nomi GT. Damn. Maybe I should get rid of the trunk antenna. Get a racing wheel as well, just for the hell of it. Roll cage. Got it. Roof accessory. Roof bars. Side skirts. Wide body side skirts? What does that look like? Like a whole lot of nothing. Got a radiator, yep. We got glass, yep. Here are accessories. No, we don't need police stuff. We ain't topped. Strut bar. Okay. Front suspension. Front strut. Well, let's get race front coilovers first off. A race front sway bar. And we'll leave the front spindles as they are, because they're doing the Lord's work. Race rear. Rally rear. Nope. Race rear sway. Did I miss? Bollocks. My mistake, sorry. Yep, I found it. My mistake. Well, I've already done that. I should probably put it back. Just in case it, like, really overdoes the other guys. Because I could see it, like, really, you know, giving them a lot of upgrades as a result of that. Oh, hell yeah, lettering delete. Pog. Okay. Rear disc brakes. Let's go for LS rear disc. And we'll go for semi-race front. Oh, I see, hold on. So we change that. There we go. Semi-race brake pads. Okay, so we've got a GT spoiler. We've got roof bars. We've got 205 60 R15 sport tires, front and rear. We've got upgraded coilovers, sway bars. We've got an open rear diff. This is probably going to be fine. We've got sport. We've got, yes, Type LS front disc brakes with semi-raised front brake pads. We've got a lip. We've got a vented hood. We've got a race steering wheel. And we've got struts. Oh, and a roll cage. And a tow bit. Because you want to be practical as well. And we'll put in a GPS. Oh, we can get underglow lights? Why didn't anyone tell me this? Cyan. Ballin'. If it was nighttime, we'd look thick as hell. Okay, I think we have a kind of car. Let's find out. And more importantly, try and brake more gently. We're gonna be learning the track a little bit here, I think. Oh, he's a sturdy car. Steering left a little bit to be desired there, and I don't know why. Because the front looks perfectly fine. But that's just a feature. Okay, if I just hold the steering wheel at 90 degrees to where it should be to drive straight ahead, we'll be fine. Okay, maybe we won't be fine. Maybe I lied. But one more again from the top. Come on, get in first. Alright. Wait. This way. Surprise! The trouble is applying the brake, actually. My brake pedal is so damn stiff. Like that guy's, apparently. That's cool. made it around that. We can still see third place. Just. Luckily, third place is somehow a more terrible driver than me. A big bonus. I got too cocky. Apparently he is not a worse driver than me. One last time. Okay. Why? Why did he spin out with that, Don't need the command prompt. I'm not gonna break out the old Bethesda stuff and spawn in a death claw or something. So that would be a neat trick. Think you're gonna beat me? Well, take a death claw. That'll teach them. Second always playing up in this station. Nope, nope, nope. Second out of third just does not work, and I don't know if that's the game, like the gearbox in the game, or if it's the actual physical gearbox that I'm using. Be the gearbox in the game, because I didn't have trouble with that Volkswagen Golf knockoff. Come on, around we go. Gently does it. I think it could just be the physical one. I just noticed it more in this car. Do I look like the kind of person game that's worried about a slightly damaged second gear? Yeah, I was thinking just as I was saying that it's probably that setting I've got on. It's trying to protect me from completely obliterating the gearbox. Because I've got it partially in baby mode. The baby's first manual experience in BeamNG. That's alright, we'll just cut across the grass. What did the other guy do? How have you not overtaken me?
Who likes good news? Everyone?
Thank you for the
Then
follow,
good news,
Chunga
everyone.
Chick. Is that correct? Glad you like what you see. Welcome aboard. I can assure you I'm a better driver in real life, but then again, I don't normally drive at these speeds or with this intensity. Yeah, right? Nope, I did the same thing again, just after complaining about it. Come on, Joe, you know it doesn't go over 100 in a second. Earlier on, I was playing on a... just kind of getting the hang of things. Yeah, I know. Come on, don't bottle it now. Ooh, we're getting close to bottling it, though. I was playing around on a map called Generic City. And it's got the weirdest bridge, which is simultaneously like 100 meters above one plateau of land and 100 meters below another plateau of land. And that elevation change is covered in the space of 30 meters. So the road is like at 75 degrees. So I just sent the LaFerrari right up there at 300 kilometers an hour. Now that was an industrial accident. Thank you very much for your help there, Rule Breaker, by the way. What other things do we have going on here? Did you have a sick stunt? Thank you, Sergeant. Otherwise, that's about it for the Hiroshi Raceway. Unless I want to do a rock roll. Which, let's be honest, is probably a bit above my skill level. Let's be real. Now we want to go in here, yes. For the ETK, there's probably a race there, right? I'm just going to drive around some Polish roads. Just to kind of de-stress a bit. No, I definitely didn't have any ABS. Rather Sin City. Okay. Let's hop out of this car. Let's get something with a manual transmission. I don't know if this would have a manual transmission. It does. There you go. I guess it's before. A lot of, at least contemporary military vehicles, have automatic gearboxes. Yeah, I mean, obviously that's like the best of the best, right? I mean, I wonder if something like the Bolide, or more, probably more recently, like the ETK K series, get the diesel for that towing capability, of course. That's good. We'll go in the camper van. Go for a tour. I'm on 5% brakes, guys. Almost stalled out there. This Strimbeco, however, handles like ass because it's got an awful short-range gearbox. Okay. Making our way down to the valley floor. Oh. Gonna need a lot of power to get out of. Can't. Put on the park brake. What's this back? Oh, this bad boy. Yeah. I had a lot of fun driving this one around not San Francisco. Particularly when I put the dual race exhaust on it, it sounded delightful. What are the... Damn. But you're right, this is a little bit slow. Can we do better? And the answer is almost certainly yes. Let's try the Ibishu hopper. Yeah, that might, what's that? A bypass? You accidentally had a bypass in your exhaust? Let's hop in this bad boy. Manager. Yeah, I mean, first gear is significantly taller in this. Yeah. Rust. Nature's mechanic when it comes to modifying cars. It's not a matter of whether you want to be modified, it will be modified. Yeah, I would not want to be the bus driver around these parts. Just because driving out of this valley floor would not be fun. Ooh. Luckily we weren't sending it along there. Oh, come on. How did I go through the other one? Yeah, unsurprisingly I stalled out when I nearly died. That's another game I should play, actually, with this whole setup. Bin tires, or, mud runners, it's called now. Going for a... You had all the kind of ingredients for a proper, like, speed record run. You had a car that you could follow downhill. Goodness, geez, imagine trying to bring the groceries in here. Oh, okay, well, we didn't really like that fender anyway. Not like the car's in perfect nick, it is. Hey, there we go. Oh, where's the mouse? There's the mouse. Probably going to want low range for this one. Four-wheel drive. Parking brake. What is this, a goat track? What in tarnation? This is like 80 degrees. Okay. Back to vehicle config. Gonna need a bigger engine. With a sport ECU. And a stage 2 performance long block. With a stage 2 supercharger. Four-wheel drive crawler transfer case. The heavy-duty flywheel. Yep, front shocks. Off-road. Toyota Argos are nice-looking cars. I'm glad you're. I mean, obviously you're all right, but I'm glad you're all right. Sounds like it could have been rough. Yeah, it's fine. Doesn't matter. Get to you in a second. Off-road shocks. Off-road rear springs. Heavy-duty sway bar. So did the Maters not have good air conditioning? Yeah, we can do better than red. No, we can't do better than red drum brakes, apparently. Okay, fine. $28 by 8.5. All-terrain tires. Actually, let's just go 205/75 R15. Just so it's the same. Take off the rear bumper. Oh, that's not that. We want this. Take off the front bumper. Obviously a tow hitch. Got anti-lock brakes. Excellent. No roll cage? Rip. Rock sliders for 4. The Argo was also the basis of that. Oh, damn. That sounds rough as hell, man. Glad you walked away with from it. Yeah, we do have a roll bar, that's useful. The Igo was the one that Aston Martin based the Cygnus off, right? That kind of weird hatchback they made a while back. First gear, low 4, front diff lock, rear diff lock. Now hold on a sec. Oh, for flip's sake. Is there anything else I can do? Roll a frame. That do. Damn. Well, we'll just start from a little bit lower down. Body cut, body empty. Maybe not. Thank you, Sergeant. Wonder if that affects the type of tires we've got. It does. 30, 38, 44. Damn. Let's get some real big boy tires on this bad boy. Yeah, we'll just leave it like that. Yeah, we're done. We're done here. That's perfect. May not like it, but this is what peak crawler performance looks like. In my defense, I was looking away at the time. Firefighters stood up, rushed over, expecting. Wow. That's a hell of a crash, man. Well, at least you're A, alright, and B, got a nicer car out of it all. We almost got there. Oh, first gear. Okay. So you paid 500 quid for the IGOS. But they paid out 3,000? Perfect. If that's the case, absolutely perfect. Aside from the fact that you had to break several ribs to achieve that kind of return on investment. Okay, we've got... Okay, still got a little bit out of it. Probably want ultra heavy duty engine mounts, I reckon. Gonna go for a stage 3 supercharger. Stage 3 long block. Just will race ECU. And I think we're good. And a nitrous oxide injection system. Because why the hell not, right? I had the clutch in, buddy. Don't you be acting like I didn't. Okay, come on. Straighten her up. We're in gear. Hold on, let's block that. Come on, please. Camera, please. Do I have to sit in the car to see where I'm going? Ride this out. Where the hell are we? I will never use the clutch pin. Because you told me to. And now that I've sold out, I might use the clutch. Is it crap? There it is. I love me a nice small car though. My brother's got a Honda Jazz, or I think it's called a... I don't know if it's called a Jazz there, or a Fit, over in England. Big fan of that car. I wish it was mine. Don't... At least we ended up in the same spot. Now we're just stuck in a tree. Oof. Okay, we're properly stuck in a tree. And the front left tire burst. Austin Powers something. May have just gotten us out of that. Come on. Hey, it only took several $1,000s worth of upgrades. Nitrous. Oh, interesting. Ada Riva. Come on. Wow, an actual Lada, like a Lada when you think of Lada. Interesting. You know how many miles it had? They stopped production in 2012 in some places. Oh wow, that's a lot of miles. They were making them in Egypt until 2012. The 2107. There you go. They were sold in New Zealand. Belada River. They were sold in New Zealand, distributed by the New Zealand Dairy Board. The Dairy Board received the cars in lieu of cash payments for deliveries of mutton and butter to the Soviet Union. There you go. So I imagine it also would have been hell to drive, though. Yeah, in 2001, the 2107 version. Hold on. I should open this up so we can all enjoy this. Why aren't you being captured? Why are you not being captured? That is... Someone took really good care of that, apparently. Yep. Okay. If we go down here, in 2001, the 2107 version of the Reaver scored 0 points out of 16 in a front crash conducted by the modern Russian RCAP safety assessment program and was awarded 0 out of 4 stars. Ah, there you go. The newer car would have passed. Interesting. In the 2002 ones, at least. But Lada's still around, which I'm kind of shocked by, to be honest. The Neva Legend is still selling, which is frankly shocking. I remember I saw it, the Lada Bushman, it's in Australia? Well, probably not anymore for obvious reasons. I saw Car Wow do a review on that. Weird car. The fact that it had its spare tire in the front. Sorry, not in the front, in the bonnet. Oh yeah, we can probably go back to high gear. It almost sounds like that car should have ended up in like a museum or something. Look, we might as well go off-road, we're in the car for it. Yeah, absolute child's play. Then again, for 4,000 quid, that kind of car would have probably been an absolute steal. Like a mint condition, pretty much Lada. Can't imagine there's many around, let alone in the UK. Might even be able to go into high gear. Did he only say what he used it for? Because you say you drove it around... Okay, well, I stalled it. Drove it around his property. Was it like the farm car? Which way, Western Man? Left or right? Well, given the fact that I've made that reference, we're going left. Oh, come on. I guess it is a upgraded clutch. We're probably not dealing with a difficult-to-use one. Fascinating to know what else he has in this garage. Then again, I do have a soft spot for those kind of weird collectibles and curios. Like I've got a film camera from East Germany in my cupboard. It unfortunately doesn't work quite as well as I would like it to. It has a tendency to skip frames. I've got a Nikon film camera that I only use to shoot Soviet lenses. There's something cool about having something that just doesn't exist anymore. Like it's thank you, Sergeant. In the case of the film camera, it's an old technology that people use more often now, but it's kind of obsolete from a country that doesn't exist anymore. That's what I think's the neat part. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you're right, there's probably a dime a dozen on the continent, particularly in the east. So what made you say no in the end? Yeah, it was absolutely perfect and kind of a curio. What made you go for the Igo instead of the Lada? I imagine the Lada didn't have much in the way of air conditioning, if at all. Oh, I think it's going to take us back to that fork in the road. Just done a loop around this lake, I think. Which frankly looks like a crater lake, given how it's laid out. Yeah. No, fair enough. My cousin, his uncle, well, my cousin, his father, my uncle, has a thing for old Triumphs. So for a while there, my cousin's daily driver was an old Triumph sedan, which I think is the first, probably only car I've actually been driven in that has a choke. Oh, you'd love to see it. The radiator's leaking. That is not really focused. Oh. Gone and eaten the tree somehow. But yeah, I definitely do commiserate with the kind of urge to acquire that. Now, hold on a second. There we go. That's the other thing. Was it actually licensed? Or would you have had to have taken it to the... oh, whatever you call your car authority in England, I can't remember. I know you say that you didn't have the extra cash, but what you should have done is, firstly, won the lottery, and then priced the hell out of the larder. Take the engine out, put a Honda, or, you know, Toyota 4-banger in it. Get a front splitter, some spoilers on the roof. Rear diffuser, sorry, and a limited split diff. Roll cage, the works. Forget we're driving like an 800 kilowatt car. With a surprisingly delicate, or should I say forceful, clutch. Okay, we're going down here now. Gonna be one of those sections of road. We'll get out of here. Eventually. Oh yeah, absolutely. No, that was all of it. That was purely in jest. I would only do that if it was a non-quality version. Definitely not to a pristine one like that. It's something that I feel as well about the film cameras that I have. I definitely feel a sense of like responsibility. Like they're not making these cameras anymore. I can't just you know, modify them, or I've got to be careful with them. I think it's definitely not unanimous, but I can see a similar kind of desire. Yeah, absolutely. No. If it's already going to the scrapyard, you might as well take it to the scrapyard in a fun way. People eat a bit. Yeah. Okay, so the steering's a bit shot, but it'll be fun. Yeah, put like a glass door on your garage. My father had, at one point, purchased a MGB. I admit what he thought was a twin cam, but what came out as probably not a twin cam, unfortunately. But it was a good looking car. My brother and I had to sell it on just because it was just sitting rusting in a carport. Like, we did not have the money. I almost pulled it off. We didn't have the money to buy the parts, let alone technical know-how to actually put the parts in the right place in the car. But I would really love to have kind of gotten like a laser scan of it or something. Because I love the look of the MGB. Probably because I grew up with it, around one. But I'd like disc brakes, you know? Kind of more modern. Oh, so that's where we went. We don't want it the side. No wonder it was so steep. The more modern kind of mod cons of driving around. That sounds sick. What was the Austin like to drive? I imagine it could have been quite squirrely because they've got quite a tight turning circle, don't they? Let's have a look at the American map. Let's start in San Francisco. But that sounds like it would be really good fun. I have no mechanical know-how, so I would basically be a glorified torch holder, but I would love to have been involved in it. How did it go in the banger race? That was surprisingly quick. Do we have a manual? We do have a manual. The lead? Lead. Maybe not that one. What about this one? The Bruckle Moonhawk. V8. Yeah, we'll do that one. And we'll do it in a Fiesta Yellow? Yeah, Fiesta Yellow. Ran its first 3 races, ranked high, and the rest after that. Last 3 years. Wow. I guess we're getting on the highway. Yeah, I would not like to live here. If you wanted to go anywhere but the highway, tough. Sounds like you did a pretty good job on the car then. Come on, stay steady. Steady. Are we going up that hill? Map is flipping massive. Come on, buddy, you're a V8. Let's act like it. And again, back at uni, I don't know if I would have had time to do that. Perfect. A good purchase, it sounds like. Thank you, Sergeant. Oh wow, look at the distance on this thing. Very cool map. Glad I downloaded this one. So while we're here, do we have a fifth gear? Nope, only 4. But we could fix that, couldn't we? Let's fix that. Vehicle config time. PNG on transmission. Let's go 5-speed sport. Let's not be greedy. 5 is enough. And fuel exhaust is fine. That's fine. Leave it as that. Leave it as that. That. Now we definitely don't need a nitrous system. What? I can't change it from a livery axle? That kind of sucks. But we can put a limited split rear diff. That'll do. Cruising down the highway. Oh. Yeah, that's generally considered not cool if you snap the differential, the drive shaft. There we go. I got the word out eventually. So most of the work you did to the car, it sounds like, was basically to more structural than it was mechanical. Would I be right in saying that? Where to go? Wow, this is big. Let's head over there. Okay. But did the engine still work? Wow. Well built. I haven't asked, but am I right in assuming this is a stereotypical black cab that you see around London, what have you? Yeah, yeah, okay. I thought as much when you said top heavy and what have you. Then again, I was already making that assumption when I was talking about the turning circle. Hello, Raoul. How are you this fine evening, afternoon, or morning? How is your weekend going so far? We're currently driving around a map that is kind of like the flyover states of America, I think is the best way to describe it. Got lucky there, chat. Real lucky there. And also, rule breaker, or rule breaking, I should say, is telling us about his time converting a old black cab from London into a banger racer. So did the engine work? Oh, yeah, this is built Ford tough. We're fine. For that, from the front end collision, it sounds like it'd be 50-50. But I imagine you probably tried to get a car that worked as much as it could. Why would you put a billboard up here anyway? It'd just be really difficult to change that billboard. Now, hold on a second. I didn't notice that my capture had frozen for some reason. What the hell's going on here? My apologies in advance, chat. Well, in advance. In retrograde. Why are we doing this, Why are we freezing? Happens increasingly regularly and it's annoying. I have to jump into the old support forums, I think. Alright, now we should be working. There we go. Okay. Clever. Nice little kludge around. Sorry, my apologies for not noticing that the capture had stopped. Must have just thought I was very, very considered about my upgrades. Unless you could, of course, have heard the audio coming through, and that would have made very little sense. Somehow. I think I'm gonna have to reset the car. You know a very good mod? I have a mechanical keyboard. You'll be happy to know that I also have a mechanical keyboard. Is it the Alt F4 mod? Where you just press Alt F4? Okay. It's the... I'm just trying to determine if that's a Ligma These Nuts thing. But Seawiz at least isn't. So it's a Seawiz installation? Oh, okay. I've mostly been using the stream just to kind of get practice with, yeah, closed-in weapon system. Close-in, I guess it is. Isn't it close-in as opposed to closed-in? For, like, point defense? Maybe I've just kind of, like, lyrics just been thinking of it wrong. Yeah, I mean... a bit of overkill, probably. But yeah, I've mostly been trying to use this stream just to learn how manual gear works. Ah, interesting. Well, doesn't the game come with a cannon? Like a old-fashioned cannonball cannon as well? Actually, hold on, why am I asking? I can just check. Maybe that's another mod as well. Oh, there's the launcher that launches the cars. Yeah, an old cannon. Old-timey cannon. The large roller will also do a number on a car too, I've seen that. Ugh. My neck is going to be sore tomorrow. Hope the oil pan's been damaged, that's not ideal. Engine oil is critically low, that's also not ideal. You see, I don't even need a mod to destroy the car, I can just do it myself. Engine is starved of oil. Oh, is it, game? How about now? Yeah, that does sound pretty cool, the C-Wiz mod, I'm not gonna lie. I do like a good C-Wiz. I will have to investigate that. Mechanical, I will investigate that. Thank you, Sergeant. Where am I going? Nope, not straight ahead. This really is a pretty gorgeous map, though. Ooh, that was close. I want to drive off the edge if I can avoid it. One mod I would definitely like is a mod that just puts someone in the driver's seat. It looks so weird without someone in there, it's just the car driving itself. This reminds me awfully of the asphalt route up the side of the volcano in Horizon 5. Unsurprisingly, because it's the same basic principle. Switchback road at the side of a mountain. There's only so many ways you can do that. Nope. Not off the edge. Stay on the tarmac. Almost stalled. Almost stalled. Got so close the game thought I stalled. What is that up there? Oh, is it some sort of partially in the rock tunnel there? Pretty cool. Looks like it might be. Oh. What a view, damn. The whole damn airport down there. The runway that looks like it runs into the foot of the mountain. No, maybe not. Still. That's where we started. No, we started that way. We drove over here. Went that way. Down through there. Over around that. Anyway. No, we went that way. Try and get to the top of this mountain roof. Oh, I think may have already reached the top. Yeah, that's the summit. Okay, well, we might as well get down to the bottom. And then I might raid out. Pretty much midnight here. I've hopefully got someone coming to pick up something off the gum tree. Alright, so... Fortunately, that bisects my day in such a way that annoys me. Like, on a weird mental level. One of those things where it's like, oh, there's only one thing on, but I don't feel like I can do anything else. Obviously, there's no reason to feel that way, but at least there are. Such is life for me, unfortunately. Can I make it down without having to reset the car? Possibly. Commandy. Moonhawk Commandy. Commandy? Indy? I want to go here. Yep, I'll go right past it. Oh, and I'll stall out as well, just for the hell of it. Is this the location? Yeah, it is. Okay. Oh, that was thrilling. Let us quit the game. On Twitch.tv. Let us find out who we can raid. Thank you very much for joining me tonight, first off. I have appreciated your time, however short it has been with me. We are going to have a look at rating an Australian streamer by the name of It's Gwen. They're an Australian streamer who's currently in the middle of a Mario Kart battle. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for the follows that have been dropped. I hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend, however much remains. And I will see you on Wednesday if you care to join me. I'm not entirely certain what Wednesday's stream will be just yet, but if you want to find out with me, join in at 8 PM Australian Eastern Daylight Time. I'll see you around.
Oh, I can't even see where I'm going.
James, hi. Commander Zhao, hi. Welcome on in, Raiders.
I'm on it. I'm on it. I'm on it. I'm best mod. I'm best mod. Oh, fuck you, Quinn.
Thank you, Meg.
Best mod.
Oh, I have it set to automatically do it.
Oh. Well, aren't you a good streamer?
I should do that. Why have I not thought of that?
Yeah, I had it.
I was
I have
literally
it.
thinking about that yesterday.
I have it wait like
swear
8
someone-
seconds, and then it does it. That way, like if people are like spamming raid messages, it kind of like gets past all that, and then a shout out happens.
Did you just do that in Streamabot?
Yep. It pulls the information from the.
command?
Yeah, I can do that. But I'll probably have to be like tomorrow because after this,
Oh,
I'll
that's
probably want to
fine.
sleep. Yeah, I'll probably want to go to bed.
Bro, literally everything that could go wrong went wrong with tonight's stream.
At least it went wrong
Fucking-
immediately, and we can hopefully it gets fixed. But Zhao, welcome on in. I hope you're having a lovely day.